Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm David Yakir.
And I'm Susan Keller-Horn.
And you're watching or listening to Yak About Today in Film, where you never know how the movie ends. So sit back, watch us, or get up, put your headphones on, go for a run, but listen to what we yak about today. And we are back. I am David Yakir, and I am here with Susan Keller-Horn, and I am here with Heather Stapleton, the executive director of the Vero Heritage, and manages the Citrus Museum.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Right.
But why do we have Heather here? We have her here for two reasons.
Ooh.
First, because she has just been an amazing volunteer with the Vero Beach Film Festival, and she coordinates all our volunteers. And also because she is the executive director of the Vero Heritage Center, and that is one of our favorite venues. We had tons of parties there this year, and it's been great. So, but what I want to ask is, how did you get involved with the film festival? How did you get involved with the Vero Beach Film Festival?
Well, my very first year volunteering with the festival was the first year of the festival, so I have been involved since the beginning. I just love being a part of our community. I love trying to contribute to our community, and I have to admit, I loved the idea of wine as well. And
We still have wine.
And we still have wine. It's not in our name, but we still have wine. So I started just kind of as more of a day-to-day volunteer, not taking on any kind of special tasks or any projects or anything. And I just saw some ways that we might be able to improve during some feedback that I received during that festival and some things that I saw. And I thought, I think I could really use my organizational skills to help out a little bit. And I progressively just kind of got more and more involved. And over the few years, sometimes I was working part-time, sometimes I was working full-time. So in those times that I was working part-time, it allowed me to give even more time to this awesome event and festival.
So you've been with us since the beginning. Since 2016 was our first festival. I know it's been so much fun. I've had so much fun with you.
So much fun.
It really has. But what are some of your favorite moments from our past festivals?
Well, something that really surprised me in one of the past festivals, I didn't know that Burt Reynolds was going to be as endearing as Burt Reynolds was. So I have to tell you, that was a real highlight for me. I loved that. I didn't think that I would. So it's nice to be, delightfully surprised by things. He was just so genuine. And he's kind of macho in his roles, or he was when he was younger anyway. It was just a different side that I didn't expect to see. And George Takei, we knew George Takei was going to be awesome. So there wasn't necessarily a surprise with him as a guest.
There was a surprise with him as a guest.
What was your surprise?
My surprise was how accessible he was to everybody.
He was so awesome.
He went to everything. He and his husband attended everything. They were gracious to everybody. I have on my phone a picture of me with George. And so I agree with you. He was great. But that was a surprise to me because I think he's our only guest who really attended the entire festival.
He lost his voice because he was talking with everyone so much that 2 or 3 days in, we weren't even to the end of the festival yet. And, he has that lovely, deep baritone booming, oh my voice. Yeah. And speaking of accessibility though, I this was a big moment for me. He and his husband's name is Brad, right?
Yes.
George and Brad actually came in and toured the Indian River Citrus Museum. And as genuinely honest, they really wanted to learn about it. And that was pretty cool for me too. Yeah. So those were two cool moments. But, it's not just the celebrities that are memorable and that make it cool. I just I remember one year, the opening night party at Riverside Theater, thinking, holy cow, we've got a lot of people interested in what we're doing here and a lot of people ready to support us. And that was just such a great feeling to know that we were doing something that was so well received.
Oh, I remember that. It was funny because I remember starting this whole thing with Jerusha and not even really quite understanding what we were doing.
Nobody did.
Nobody knew. And then we bring David in this year,
Who didn't know what he was doing.
You had the funniest thing that you said to David after the festival. David, tell her what you remember saying.
Oh, boy.
I can't remember.
I remember.
Oh, boy.
It was, David, now you know what you
That's
don't
right.
know.
Remember that?
Yes,
And the reason you did that is because, as I was doing the festival, I was learning every step of the way, and things caught me by surprise, and I would constantly say, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that kept happening. And every time it happened, I happened to have been with you. And I kept turning around to you and saying, you never know what you don't know. And yes, at the end, you go, now you know.
Ooh, did I say it that emphatically?
Oh, yeah. Heather, you're Heather.
That's right, Heather.
I could be pretty emphatic, yes.
But it's interesting. The one thing I wanted to talk to you about is so much about this community. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, from the time I met you, you were always making me aware of the different parts of the community, who's who. And and this was brand new to me, not only learning about the community, but learning the feel of the community. Yeah. And you gave me that. And I even learned more about the community when all of a sudden we really started dealing with the volunteers. Mm-hmm. Because then you have a sense of this community coming together to create something. And, before this, I had never done a nonprofit anything, honestly. I mean, I gave money or I did something like that, but I never participated in a nonprofit. And, when you come out of business, it's like you do this and you do that, and people are doing it because they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Right. And now not only the community just comes out for you, and the volunteers and the way you orchestrated the volunteers. There were a couple of times at our meetings, I was sort of a little teary-eyed, I think, about the dedication.
I mean, it is very touching that the volunteers first of all, we should tell your listeners and viewers, we are all volunteers. I mean, yes, we do pull in very part-time support staff as we get, crunch time, of course. And we have had some staff in the past, but for the most part, the Vero Beach Film Festival is entirely volunteer run, whether it's the folks here or the folks on the board or the folks kind of more on like the leadership committees or even just the folks running the venues. We are all volunteers. And that makes this particularly amazing. Right. And you really know you're onto something good when this many people willingly give so much of their time. David, no offense, it's kind of easy to write a check, right?
That's right.
It's a lot more difficult to actually show up and be there day in and day out, with this great smile on and be excited all the time, no matter what's happening at home. That you're here to help the people have an amazing experience. And that can be challenging for sure.
I tell the story about the same thing you said. You write a check to somebody and you go, you do this, right? And that very same thing you're asking for in a nonprofit world is, do you think you'll find the time to sort of help out here? It would mean so much to the festival and all that. And
I mean, realistically, you need both.
Yeah.
We need donors. We need grants. We need fest goers. Okay. And we need people who have time, and not everybody has time. And I don't mean to disparage people who didn't volunteer for the festival. This town is amazing.
Yeah. We need the people who didn't volunteer, who show up, who go to the festival.
Right.
We need the people who write the checks. We need the businesses who sponsor us. We're just talking about the volunteers right now, but none of those other things are
all vital components. And I think that's one of the things just amazing about our community is the philanthropy or the philanthropy of this community. The landscape is amazing. We have people that give, monetarily, time-wise, resource-wise, beg, borrow, and stealing things to make it happen. I mean, I think everyone, especially in the cultural arts world, is so supportive of what we're doing. And, that feels great to be a part of that and to know that people want to be so supportive of us.
Oh, yeah. But now we still have volunteer needs. We will be having programming throughout the year. We're going to be making some little changes based on things that we're learning from our volunteers, from our attendees, and different things. Plus, we'll have events and different things. So why don't we talk about how people can volunteer for the film festival?
Yeah, definitely. So, and hopefully in this possible post-COVID world, I think we have to be careful about timelines.
Is there going to be a post-COVID world ever?
Okay, fine. Let's not use that phrase. In the current world, no matter what it is,
right.
We do hope to get back to promoting what we have more frequently, and of course, we don't have paid marketers. We don't have paid communications specialists. And so we rely on the volunteers to help us show up at other community events to help promote what we have going on. So maybe that's a Main Street Downtown Friday event, or, perhaps it's the farmer's market or what have you. Things that we had done pre-COVID, we certainly are hoping to return to some of those activities. And then, once we start getting into our monthly or bi-monthly program or whatever we're thinking of, again, we still don't really have staff. I mean, of course, I'm assuming that's a goal of ours. That's a dream of ours to have some real staff.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Later this afternoon.
That is a goal.
Right.
Yeah, that is a goal. But in the interim, when you're a brand new nonprofit, what brand new nonprofit comes right out of the gate, fully staffed, fully funded, plus we came out of the gate and then got a little thwarted. Not that we're unique. Everybody, business or nonprofit, was thwarted by the height of COVID for sure. And so, we got a little start and then we kind of had to stop, and now we're starting back up again. And I think it's exciting.
So people can sign up to be a volunteer still.
Yes, they can. We have this amazing resource that I cannot recommend highly enough because, again, as a volunteer coordinator, I'm a volunteer coordinator. Many organizations have that as a staff position, and we just don't. So there's this resource that we use, small subscription fee, called Track It Forward. And if you go to just our festival website, so
right.
vbfilmfest.org, you can get redirected there, or if you sign up and click on yes, I'm interested in volunteering, I will be in touch, or my cohort Patty will be in touch and make sure that we get you on this amazing management system. I just sent out an email today. It's so easy to remind everyone, to announce to all of our volunteers about our It's a Wrap party to celebrate and get some feedback from the volunteers.
Well, you know what? We need to go to a break.
Yeah.
But we'll be right back with you, and we want to talk about the Heritage Center.
I do too.
Vero Heritage Center.
I do too.
Quickly.
Awesome.
Dr. Stephen Tate offers the safest and most efficient technique for customized cataract surgery. Patients are personally counseled on the best approach for their needs and lifestyle. From multifocal lenses that allow for distance and reading vision to toric lenses that correct astigmatism, let New Vision Eye Center guide you safely through your options. For world-class eye care on the Treasure Coast, visit newvisioneyecenter.com.
Summer is here, and it's a great time to create your outdoor room at Sunshine Furniture. Now, during our July clearance sale, you can save an additional 10% on all in-stock patio furniture from Lloyd Flanders, Woodard, Windward, Beechcraft, Pollywood, Berlin Gardens, and more. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have anything you need, all built to withstand the Florida elements, and we also specialize in cushions, umbrellas, outdoor rugs, and fire pits. For inside, we have the largest selection of coastal sofas, sleeper sofas, dining sets, recliners, and bedroom groups in light and airy coastal colors by Four Seasons, Capri, and Universal, including a gallery of Tommy Bahama. Come in now for our July sale, including 50% off all pictures, lamps, and accessories. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com. Also, don't forget our outlet and sales center right across the street.
Sunshine Furniture. Are you a therapist or a nurse seeking the multi-state compact license? In the state of Florida, these and many other industries require a Level 2 live scan background check for clearance to work in your industry. A1A Fingerprints is your certified live scan source from Broward to Brevard. And if you're a medical provider, you need to be registered on the ACA web portal. A1A Fingerprints will help you navigate and comply with the law. Call 772-494-6556 or visit a1afingerprints.com. A1A Fingerprints.
And we are back. I'm David Yakir here with Susan Keller-Horn and Heather Stapleton. And we're going to talk about the Heritage Center in Vero Beach. Heather is the executive director, and it's an incredible space. We called it our home, or what did we call it? We called it our hub of the entire film festival. And we picked it first because of Heather, and then because the space is incredible. So we're going to talk more about that. And then right after that, I really want to talk about the Citrus Museum.
Oh, okay.
That's something so unique, and it's in this town. And in fact, I didn't know it's going to sound funny, but every time I go up to New York, I'll do something. We'll be at a dinner or something. I go, I live at the home of the Citrus Museum.
But you know what, David? You have to talk about something else.
Oh, I do.
You do. And
I usually do this earlier.
Yes, you do.
All right. As you know, this is brought to you by New Vision Eye Center, who's been promoting the Yak About Today series of podcasts for the last almost 9 years now. And everybody knows there's not a sponsor of this show that I wouldn't frequent or I don't believe in. And New Vision Eye Center is one of those places, and I can't say enough about them. I recommend highly that you go see Dr. Minotti, Reinhauer, Tate, and O'Brien if you have anything to do with your eyes, because they were incredible. And then Susan and I keep going back on talking about stories about the different doctors. But
that's true.
I think we should maybe call it here and just, please, I wouldn't trust my eyes to anyone else. So, Heather.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Heritage Center, because that has an interesting history. This was a place that was virtually on the verge of being torn down.
So the building was built in 1935. It technically predated that WPA getting folks back to work after the first Great Depression. And so at the time, it was just the Federal Emergency Relief Act, something that we still have today. But anyway, that later morphed into the WPA. And it was this very interesting collaboration between the federal government and the city government. You don't really think about that sort of connection. And so the building was built. Locals got paid to work on the building. And people were clamoring to use the building. It wasn't even completed yet, and people were already clamoring to use the building. So this was March of 1935. It was completed. The first event was the 7th annual Flower and Garden Show, said to have eclipsed all previous flower and garden shows in the 1935 newspaper. Yeah, and you know that it was probably so podunky compared to things today. Anyway, and the city, though they owned the building, they had no idea how they were going to assign the keys, check out who's going to sign for what and who's going to manage all that. They had none of that in place. And the locals really already wanted to use the building. And so used quite a bit up until World War II. And during World War II, because Vero had a naval air station here, we had about 2,700 men and 900 women involved with the World War II effort stationed here in Vero Beach. The Heritage Center became the Servicemen Center. And what's really interesting, it was really important to the locals that every penny that the civic organizations donated to the Servicemen Center, that it stayed local. It did not go into a national pot. So, you know, they were borrowing, stealing couches to have lounges for the servicemen and tables where they could write letters home, and they provided free postage and all of this. And it was all support after having been built with federal money. It was all then later supported by the local community, you know, much like it still is today. During World War II, we had a serious fire in the building.
Ooh.
the footlights had been left on accident on the stage, turned on the stage. And at the time, we didn't have fire retardant materials. The curtains caught on fire on the stage. And had it been left 20 minutes longer, the fire chief said that the building likely would have burned and had a lot more serious damage. But this building is made out of quality materials that we no longer have in modern day. It's an old growth pine called Dade County pine, and it is somewhat fire resistant.
Oh, wow.
It's not fireproof, but it's somewhat fire resistant. It's somewhat insect resistant. And because of that resistancy, that's why it was chosen to be a building material. And, we just don't have quality materials like that today. So later, when the building had fallen into disuse and thus disrepair, and public officials tried to claim, well, it's full of termites, it's not worth saving, a local resident named Millie Bennell said, I beg your pardon, this is Dade County pine. You can't get anything better than this. It's a very, very dense wood. And she just, said, no, it's survived a fire. It's already survived hurricanes. Even though there might be some termites in here, that doesn't make it not worth saving. And so in 1991, the building was saved, even though it had been on a demolition list, and it would have been demolished 2 weeks later had Millie not led the community. And of course, once again, community support. I mean, the community support has always been in this town, So it really was thanks to the community led by Millie that the building was saved from demolition. And here we are all these years later, and we are busier than ever before. And luckily, I have our hold for the Vero Beach Film Festival for 2023 already on the calendar. It helps to know people, Susan.
I guess we committed. I guess, Susan, we committed to a date.
We've committed to a date.
Well, it's
haven't put it on the calendar. We have a date.
It's a temporary hold, David.
We said we have committed to the date.
Right. When do you need the money? That's what I'm asking.
There's time on that.
Can we do? I mean, we've got what, 3 minutes left.
Yes.
Talk about the Citrus
Okay,
Museum.
so
this is amazing.
Indian River citrus is famous worldwide. All citrus grown in Florida, no matter what part of Florida it comes from, is very juicy. Massive amounts of rain, massive humidity here in Florida. The Indian River District further distinguished itself by scientifically proven to produce the sweetest citrus in the world. And so Vero Beach really is the heart of all of that. Our district is more than just Indian River County. The district is actually about 205 miles long along Florida's east coast, along the Indian River Lagoon. That's what it gets its name from, but is scientifically proven by Degrees Bricks to be the sweetest citrus in the world. So we're juicy just like the rest of Florida, and we're much sweeter than the rest of Florida. And for that very reason, this product is highly sought after all over Europe, Japan. I mean, this is a worldwide name, Indian River.
Right.
And
We
so
suffered a big.
there's a museum.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. And so I'm sorry,
Well,
yes.
this is all
And
relevant.
so, yes, it's relevant because the Heritage Center houses the Indian River Citrus Museum, the one and only Indian River Citrus Museum. And literally people from all over the world come to Vero Beach to come to my little museum. I call it Micro and Mighty.
It's very cute. It really is neat.
What do they see at the museum?
So they'll hear more of the story that I just told you, much more of that story. We have all kinds of artifacts that had been used in days gone by. And one of the things that folks just absolutely go gaga over is our collection of authentic crate labels, which are no longer used. And people just absolutely love them.
So you actually have a competition, not a competition, a raffle going on.
We do.
And it features those labels.
We have to have
I hope I win. I know I bought a bunch of tickets.
I know that's the hard thing. I know so many people who've purchased tickets, but yes, we try and do interesting fundraisers, throughout the year. Last summer we did the stand-up paddleboard, and this summer we're doing custom cornhole boards decorated with replications of those labels that people like so much.
I want to be the winner.
Okay.
I want to be that winner.
Okay, noted.
Okay, just
What
let
are
me
the
know.
dates of that?
We're going to do that drawing at Main Street, Vero Beach, downtown Friday. August 26th is the date of the drawing. So get your tickets. You can go online to our website, VeroHeritage.org, or you can just stop by in person. That's even better. Then you can put your good luck mojo on your tickets.
So last thing.
Yes.
You ready to start working on the 23 festival?
I thought we already did. And just a couple days ago, we were already working on things, right?
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
And we're going to be meeting at my house to kind of go over 2022 and talk about how we make 23 better. So
I can't
that's happening
wait.
soon.
I mean, this year was already so good. Next year's going to be awesome.
It really
I can't
is.
wait. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening.
Bye.
We will be back next week. Maybe not the same time, but next week.
Thanks, guys.